I remember I placed an advertisement and got an interview in, and that first resume was pretty impressive to me, and I basically just hired her on the spot, brought her into my practice, and it was a challenge. Hello everyone, Edward Collins here, and I just want to welcome you back to this channel. Today, I want to talk about this very, very big mistake that I made at the very beginning of my first business as an adult. And that was the mistake having to do with, can I afford to hire my first hire? Let's get right into it. So the real question you need to ask yourself, what is it going to cost you not to make that hire? I'm going to share with you a story that essentially lays out all the mistakes I made around this central topic. And it's all started back in 1998. That's when I started my first financial planning practice. Those first 12 months, I essentially was a job owner, owning all of the jobs in my business. I was the one who was making sure the lights were turned on in the morning. I was the one who would make sure the garbage was collected. I was the one who was making sure that the internet bill was paid. I was struggling a lot. That first year was a horrible year financially for me. And then as I was getting into that second year, I started saying, well, what could I possibly do to turn things around? Because it wasn't pretty. And then I got this idea that maybe I just needed to hire someone because I was wearing all these different hats. Maybe finding another set of arms and legs and putting that into my practice, that would be the solution. What I did is I reached out to some of the other business owners that I knew that were at my level or maybe just a little bit below me. And I was asking them questions as to what I should do. Should I hire someone? Can I afford to hire someone? And the advice I was getting from all these different individuals that I knew was pretty much all over the map. But I did settle on making that hiring decision. That was about that 2-year mark. I remember I placed an advertisement and I got an interview in, and that first resume was pretty impressive to me, and I basically just hired her on the spot, brought her into my practice, and it was a challenge. I ended up spending a lot of my own personal time just trying to teach her what I needed to get done within my business. And a lot of that wasn't her fault. The vast majority was my own fault because I didn't really know what I needed. I didn't know where I was going to be putting her within my business, tasks I was going to be giving to her versus doing myself. And I ended up spending a lot of time literally doing the exact same thing that she was doing, and it became a challenge. That challenge period lasted for almost 3 years. I kept her in my business, really not understanding how she was going to be productive or what she should be doing for about 3 years. And that's when I finally got the courage to say, you know what, it's time for us to part ways. I definitely ended up letting her go. But the challenge was I was so shell-shocked from not only the expenditure of dollars having her in my practice, but also the expenditure of my own personal time, that I delayed making my next hire for almost another 2 years. I'm essentially 7 years into my practice, and now I'm standing there and it's just me. That was a horrible place to be. Let's backtrack a bit. I want to really highlight the mistakes that I made in that story that I shared with you. Let's talk about each one. The very first mistake I made was one, just delaying the hire. I was 2 years into my practice before I brought another set of arms and hands in to help me build my business. There's so much talent out in the universe that we can tap into by bringing that talent in-house in order to add value to not only what we do day in and day out within our businesses, but also the communities we serve. So that 2-year time frame was my very first mistake. The second mistake I made in the story that I shared is that I reached out to other business owners that were at my level or below. They were nowhere near what I had aspired to. So that was mistake number 2. Mistake number 3 was not really even understanding what I needed in my business at the time. As a business owner, anytime you're thinking about hiring someone, you should always be thinking about hiring the very exact person you need in your business in this moment. You want to ensure that the skill sets that they possess are actually going to be able to put to work immediately. You don't want there to be a 6 or a 12-month delay before they're actually adding value to the bottom line. A member of your team is going to be engaging in to be immediately ending up with positive results in your business. When you look at mistake number 4 in that scenario, is that I actually delayed the process of letting this person go. If you are going to go through the process of hiring slow, meaning doing all the right research to ensure that, one, you know exactly what services and what skill sets you need in your business to complement your own. You know exactly when you need them to be working and productive within your enterprise. If you're going to go through that process, that slow hiring process, you actually need to do yourself a service by firing fast. Because when you hire slow, that's already creating some delay. Don't get me wrong, you absolutely do want to hire slow. You don't want to get the wrong person in the role. But if you are going to be hiring slow, you need to be committed firing fast. And I was not. I felt compelled to keep her on because she was my very first hire, so I was so nostalgic about it. And quite frankly, guys, this is a business. It's not personal. And it doesn't mean you have to fire in a malicious way or be mean about it. The reality is this is business. And if you don't have the right person in the role, don't want to try to shift that person to a different different role within your business. Don't create a role just to keep the person employed. You need to make sure that you're hiring with intent and you're firing with intent. So again, when you're looking at all the mistakes that I was making, that's definitely compiled there. But another mistake that I made, and I want to highlight for you, is that just because I had a really, really bad experience with that first hire, that should not have been a legitimate reason for me to delay by almost 2 years my very next hire. In fact, what I should have been doing is figuring out how to hire the next person at the moment that I was firing the first. In your business, speed matters, because the first person to market, the first person to add value, the first person to be able to get up in the morning and share who they are and what they do with the world, those are the individuals that win. And I want you guys to win. So learn vicariously through the mistakes I've made. Let me just recap them. You don't wait too long to make that first hire, or you don't wait too long to make the next hire after that. You make sure that you have a set process in place to be able to monitor the activity of the employees that you do bring on board, to ensure that they're doing what needs to be done within your business. And if they are not, you coach them up or coach them out, because at the end of the day, your business matters and the team that you have in place will matter as well. Can't wait to add value in the weeks and months ahead. So if you found this to be valuable, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because there's more value to come. Bye for now.